We're pleased to be joined by Tony Russo, president of the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey. Good to see you, my friend.
Happy to be here, Steve. Thank you.
The state of commerce, by the way, your website will be up throughout this entire segment. The state of commerce in the state of New Jersey, how would you describe it?
I mean, at this point, tentative. I think a lot of our businesses are worried, concerned about what's going to happen in Trenton with the budget and the taxes and whether or not we're going to have taxes or not have taxes. So I would say tentative but cautiously optimistic. I mean, so business is good, but I'm waiting to see what happens.
By the way, when Tony says that we're doing this right before the budget is supposed to be struck in the state of New Jersey toward the end of June 2018, and it will air after that. But let's talk big picture. You talk to business leaders all the time. If, in fact, there is a quote-unquote millionaire's tax, an increase taxes on millionaires, I believe, help me on the, I think it's right now it's 8.9%. It could go up to
10.25, I think.
10.25. Someone says, what's only a good percentage or so? What's the big deal? What impact, if that were to happen, do you think it would have?
Yeah, because I think it's a cumulative effect. So when you think about that one tax combined with all the other taxes that our businesses pay, I think there needs to be an appreciation that a millionaire's tax, a lot of the millionaires, and I think there are about 18,000 in New Jersey, also employ a lot of our residents. They own the small businesses. And so they're going to take that all into account, and I think the impact will be that those millionaires will decide whether or not the view is worth the climb and whether or not they should leave the state.
What happens when a business leaves the state? And by the way, where do they go, Tom?
A lot of them relocate to Pennsylvania, right next door.
Lower tax rate?
Yeah, Delaware, New York.
Lower tax rate?
Lower tax rate.
Florida, no taxes?
Florida, no taxes, no income tax in Florida. So it's a cumulative effect. It's a pancake effect. I mean, so you put one pancake on another. Each one is a tax, a fee, and then when they take it big picture, they'll say, you know what, it's time maybe to move elsewhere.
Okay, by the way, we're talking to Tony Russo from the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey. By the way, we happen to be promotional colleagues. We cross-promote each other's work. But I'm curious about something. What about those who say, you know what, people who have the most should pay their fair share, so what are they complaining about, you say?
Yeah, and they do. I mean, a lot of our companies give back to the local community, charitable good works. Again, it's not a question of whether or not they should are paying those taxes. What our companies want to see that the Trenton, the lawmakers also take a look at cutting spending. And that's something that's not happening right now. There's all the talk about raising the corporate business tax, the millionaire's tax.
Yes, by the way, Senate, sorry for interrupting. The Senate President Steve Sweeney was right here on this set on NJTV talking about a corporate tax. Governor Murphy is proposing a millionaire's tax, an increase in the sales tax. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Cumulative effect.
But the cumulative effect in that, and really what I wanted to say, what's absent in the discussions, right, in Trenton right now between the governor, the state legislature, is any talk of really spending cuts. And I think that has to be put on the table.
The proposed budget, again, we don't know what's going to happen, is an increase, is it 1 point, help me on the number, Michael Aaron, who's in the newsroom, he'd have this number. I think it's $1.5 billion. That's not a cut.
Well, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, to your question, do our businesses want to pay those taxes? They would pay those fair taxes if there's also discussion on trying to cut spending in Trenton. So if you're short $1 billion, I think you're obligated to also look at the programs to see where you can save some money and make some cuts before you go to raising the taxes. But also the other thing I want to mention too is the fact that the third item here, and we say it all the time when we testify, is they should look at
testify before the legislature.
I'm sorry, before the legislature, is increasing the tax base. So the number of entities that actually pay the taxes.
More people paying.
So bring that investment into New Jersey.
Okay, how about this one? State and local deductions, SALT. Right? The Trump administration argues biggest tax cut years stimulating the economy. But in states like New Jersey, Tony, speaking to Tony Russo from Commerce and Industry Association, it's a $10,000 cap on which you can write off on your taxes for your state taxes and your property taxes. And I live in Montclair. Let's just say we pay our fair share and then some. But then you got the state income tax. You can only write off 10 grand. That's it. Most folks in New Jersey, they pay a lot more than that in state and local property taxes, right?
Yep.
What? That's killing people. How is that making sense for a state like New Jersey?
It doesn't, and that's one part of the governor's proposed budget that we actually support, is he wants to raise that cap for that SALT or state and local taxes up to $15,000. So that's one thing that he proposed back in March that we actually, as a business community, support.
Hold on, I want
is
to be
raising
clear.
that cap
The state is saying, let's raise the cap.
from 10,000 to 15,000.
And the Internal Revenue Service in Washington is saying, hold on one second. We have a new federal tax law. You can't mess around in a state and change that. That's a federal issue, not a state issue.
Well, it's not. It's the deduction that I'm allowed to take at the
Okay.
state level. So this is on your state income taxes.
Oh, on your
not
state income
yes.
taxes. I'm sorry. Not on
So
the,
your cap will go up to 15,000. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not an accountant.
No, but I will say this. It's hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
That deduction.
And it's a mixed bag. It's
All
a
right.
mixed bag.
By the way, what do you think most, let me switch gears on this. Gateway Tunnel. I've been asking everybody this issue. It sounds like an infrastructure issue. Got a minute left. Gateway Tunnel, New York, New Jersey, going through Lincoln Tunnel. How important is it to our state?
It's so important to our state that at the Commerce and Industry Association, we launched a transportation forum dedicated just to focus on transportation issues. Not only in our roads, bridges, and tunnels, but also ports, seaport, airport. We want to try to bring it all together and try to improve how our products and services are delivered.
Is that a commerce issue?
It's absolutely a commerce issue, absolutely. And we support the funding of it. We hope it's funded totally. We
The Gateway Tunnel.
The Gateway Tunnel. But I think we need a state transportation plan on trying to move traffic around the state. I think it all needs to be tied together.
It's interesting. People say it's a transportation issue, but in fact, it's an issue that involves commerce, economic development, quality of life, traffic.
It's all tied in.
Anthony Russo is the president of the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey. Also, by the way, check out their magazine. It is, in fact, called
Commerce Magazine.
It's amazing how that
Yes.
happened. This is Steve Adubato. This is State of Affairs. Catch you next time. Thanks. Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you, Steve. Thank you.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Nicholson Foundation, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, NJ Best, and by New Jersey Sharing Network. Promotional support provided by Jaffe Communications, where business, media, and government converge in New Jersey. And by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.